Sam Basil and 11 MPs cross floor to join government. Government offices locked for outstanding rental bills. And Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Ngangan explains cash flow status.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Monday's news. Pangu Party leader and member for Bulolo Sam Basil has crossed over to the government accompanied by 11 members of his party. This was officially announced this afternoon at Parliament House in a news conference led by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill. This controversial move made by the Pangu Party leader comes after the party leader led a strong anti-PNC campaign during the 2017 elections.
We want the speculation to be put to rest that we have made our decision and we are happy to be joining hands with PNC into running this country for the next 5 years. Thank you.
After leading an anti-PNC campaign and multiple votes of no confidence against the Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, Pangu Party leader Sam Basil has made a provocative move to join the government.
Guinea have chosen the government. Papua New Guinea, through the elected members of parliament, whether PNC or independents, have made their choice to have PNC back to govern the country for the next 5 years. We've done our part in going to in trying to change government. We don't have the numbers. So all I can say is that Papua New Guinea have chosen the government. Now we make our choice to join PNC.
The member for Bulolo is accompanied by 11 Pangu members, including Deputy Party Leader William Sam, most of these members who are first-time Member of Parliament. Mr. Basil said a detailed article will be released in the next few days in the dailies explaining their decision to join government. He said this move now to join hands with PNC is to implement policies and ensure the 100 days policies by the Treasurer are followed through.
Politics, you flip a 20 coin, there's two sides, you see. Government and the opposition, we're still part of it. The government looks after the nation. It's mandated by the people. They've got majority on the floor. Pangu Party decides to join the government so that we can also be a player to make sure that we implement policies that the PNC-led government, including Pangu.
The government has put aside their differences and welcomed Pangu Party into government. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says the government has acknowledged the party's policies and will incorporate them in the next 5 years.
It went to the elections with some very solid and strong policies that our party, PNC, and the government acknowledges. And that people wanted those policies to be incorporated in the management of the country over the next 5 years. We've agreed that we will take on board all the issues that they have stood for, went to the elections for. We will work together in making sure that we deliver that to the expectations.
Marilyn Daukatam, National EMTV News. A number of government offices have been locked out by landlords due to non-payment of outstanding rentals. This morning, public solicitor officers were locked out of their office. The Ombudsman Commission and National Institute of Standards and Industrial Technology offices have also been closed.
Locked out of their office by Ray White, who manages Garden City, due to the non-payment of rental totaling up to 980,000 kina over an 8-month period.
Unfortunately, we cannot pay our own rent, and we don't have the funding, so we just have to wait on the finance department to look for some funds somewhere.
The public solicitor told EMTV that he had notified the Department of Finance on the pending eviction notice. The Office of the Public Solicitor represents the defendants or citizens who require legal assistance in court. Every day there is a case at the Waigani Courthouse where the Committal National or Supreme, where lawyers from the Public Solicitor attends.
It's not good to be seen like this. Our operations been controlled or subject to the Finance Department non-payment. And we cannot deny our small people their rights to have their cases heard within reasonable time. And also the judges expect my lawyers to be there in court.
The Ombudsman Commission office in downtown Port Moresby has also been locked since Friday. EMTV understands other renting government offices may also be in the same situation. But the National Institute of Statistics and Industrial Technology, which is the government agency to monitor technical standards and productivity, has been closed for a month. Adelaide Sirok's Kari, National EMTV News.
Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Ngangan said unpaid rental bills of government agencies are budget issues and not cash flow problems. Speaking to EMTV, he explained that last year's budget only covered 75 million kina out of the usual 230 million kina on rentals. Also, that 5 million kina has been made available to pay for outstanding rental bills.
So the issue has already been 27, and I've been asking the landlords to be considerate, to be patient with us, because year in, year out, we've been paying them. So it'll allow us time to correct this budget issue, and after the supplementary budget is done, the gap in the shortfall between the 230 and the 75 will be corrected, and we can be able to repay what is outstanding and to continue to pay the rentals going into the future.
12 people, 3 of whom are mothers, have received bullet wounds from an incident yesterday in Mendi town. They are currently receiving treatment at Mendi General Hospital. They were wounded when they were caught amidst exchanges of gunfire between locals and the police from other provinces and PNG Defence Force soldiers. The Joint Security Forces attempted to transport the 84 disputed boxes for the Southern Highlands regional seat but failed. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. 13 PNG Defence Force soldiers have returned home with a Silver Standard Shield after completing military training in Australia. The infantry unit was led by Commanding Officer of the 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Boniface Aruma.
The team of soldiers were amongst 11 other nations that participated in the military skills training in Queensland, including the United States and the New Zealand armies.
There's a range of activities that they participated. All up, it was 12 different activities. Activities designed to test section commanders' command and control. Individuals were put through stressful conditions and the ability to react under stress and then carry the tasks that were given to them from conducting, such as first aid.
Lieutenant Colonel Aruma explained that the PNGDF's participation was a result of an invitation by the Australian Defence Force.
Basically, it was an invitation from the Australian Chief of Army. He invited the PNGDF to provide a section comprising 10 men to participate in military skills challenge.
This is the first time for an infantry unit from PNGDF to take part in an international infantry training, and returning with a Silver Standard Shield is a unique achievement for the force.
And so our section from the PNG Defence Force achieved a Silver Standard, which is a very significant achievement considering it's the first time for PNG Defence Force to send a section to represent the PNG Defence Force in an international environment, competing against the best, So we have a section from the Marines and the Australians, as well as the Fijians and East Timorese. The total of 9 teams, but for our section to finish and achieve a Silver Standard, that in itself is a very high standard and it's a very significant achievement.
Corporal Newly Leonard, the soldier who led the team, said the training was very intense and an interesting experience for those who participated.
We went to a series of activities, as our boss has mentioned, but it was very intensive and demanding, but we were able to, participate well.
Gunga, National EMTV News.
Since the introduction of the Sector Response Unit in Leh City, the speed at which criminals are arrested has risen dramatically. Police response time had been cut from an average of 20 minutes to 5 to 10 minutes in some cases. Leh cameraman Vinansi Swavite sent on a mission to see how the response unit worked on the streets.
Leh City still gets its share of armed hold-ups and robberies. Life still isn't perfect, but since the introduction of the sector response units, the time it takes for police to respond to trouble has been slashed by half, according to the Metropolitan Command. Today, the SRU took an MTV cameraman to see how the system works.
Roger, coming for seat rep.
This is Sector 100, with a relatively large concentration of people on any single day. The SRU commander, Senior Constable Daure Ainiri, and a small team are responsible for patrolling this sector.
Concept where him easy lo mi pladet no got car by round lo
The sector response units are part of an integrated system that heavily relies on good communications and public support.
I am come now to report for me, so I'm going to the station to lay a complaint, and if I can get the police to go and arrest these guys.
The Metropolitan Command decided to use methods of communication already used by the public. The whole policing package includes personal community engagements, increased police presence, and social media and mobile phones.
Come on, only come go straight to Operation Center, and this person come to me, stop to this area where something happening, come up, trouble on them.
On every vehicle, the police toll-free number is displayed prominently. It is an important link between the community and the police. In previous years, Leh was known for its high rate of petty crimes. These days, any attempt at a petty crime is nipped in the bud, the offenders taken away by police as soon as they are reported.
Thank you for the info.
The operations center is manned 24 hours a day. Every phone call is logged and the number recorded.
Every time a call come, we like Simon Islam, we like race more direct straight long. Location all engaged long. So only got all areas only walk long and so.
If we come up, we like sing out the radio. Sometimes we sing out the phone straight, local nabablo driver or side them start local. What's up with the nabablo yes.
While it may not look as flashy as in the movies, the officers who work here say they can trace a number and find out which unit attended to the call if a follow-up is needed. Scott Wide, National MTV News, Leh.
The Atap Hospital in the Morobe province has been operating for many years, serving people from Kabum, Tawai CSE and even Medang. The hospital administrator Domben Gandeng said, however, that the hospital needs support to cater for the increase in demand for healthcare. It has been operating with rundown facilities and is often faced with the shortage of medical supplies. MP for Tawai CSE Dr. Kobi Bomareo said he will be working closely with the church and other stakeholders to assist the hospital.
The Atap Rural Hospital is one of 4 Lutheran mission-run centres in the Momase region. It is set in the Tawai CSE district in Morobe but gets patients as far as Medang.
Plenty population here, especially the Kabum district, Tawai CSE, neighbouring districts of Medang province and Raikos.
The hospital has been supported over the years by the church and the government through the church health services.
Member of Tawai CSE, Mount Jimmy, here. Most member of
Dribbles of the government's free healthcare policy have been received.
Last month as well, one free healthcare money we start been making flexible materials, maintenance, facility.
This, however, has not been enough to cater for the increase in demand for healthcare. Apart from using rundown facilities, the hospital often faces shortages in medical supplies. Earlier this year, they were forced to close the outpatient.
It's like outpatient purposely because no medical supply on the ground.
Gandeng said delays in receiving medical supplies are common.
Because basic something help him or sick man long all stop life me apply no na apply making long here because lo supplies lo medical supplies na to all company lo delivery mo samarasin no up to date one time delivery system long.
According to TYCSC MP Dr. Kobe Bomareo, the hospital has only received 200,000 kina from the past administration.
The previous government has only given them about 200,000. That is not enough.
Dr. Bomareo said his administration will be working closely with the church and other stakeholders to improve healthcare.
And with the background of health, I'm looking forward in one way to help improve that hospital standard.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Still in Wasu Morbe province, the district's main concern is the maintenance of roads and bridges in the district. MP for TYCSC Dr. Kobe Bomareo said the roads are not fully accessible. Just like Boana in Nawai district, Wasu lacks many government services including health and education and is in need of help from the government.
Looking at the road, bridge, other infrastructure, communication, we are way back. All our roads, there are no new cuts. We still maintain the old roads, but they were not maintained to the full standard that is usable. That is a great concern and it's a great challenge for this new government of mine, how we're going to go about taking this on board. But we believe that, 5 years with the party that I am in, Pangu Party, we got a good policy that is rural-orientated, and that policy would help us to put something in place that people would see, to see some difference from previous regimes.
The PNG government is looking at 3 steps as its priority in improving health in the country. Health and HIV/AIDS Minister says the government is now looking at investing in education, increasing health benefits for the people living in rural areas, and promoting primary and essential health care. Sir Puka Temu says the challenge now is how to improve service delivery, and parts of the solution now lies with the health workforce training. Sir Puka made these remarks during the official opening of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences lecture building this morning.
The Health and HIV and AIDS Minister, Sir Puka Temu, says one of the ways to improve health in PNG is by educating citizens. He says educating people, among other benefits, allows them to obtain safer jobs, increased health literacy, and demand better quality health services. But training of health professionals will also require proper health clinics and aid posts in the rural areas. The Health Department is now looking at establishing the Provincial Health Authority in Medang.
But the important thing is the Provincial Health Authority. Because once that is in place in Medang and other 9 provinces that are yet to have Provincial Health Authorities, I'll make sure that they have them over the next 12 months. That priority will be in Medang. So once we do that, then we will address the issues of staff shortage, facilities closed, how to handle medical supplies, how to do the referral system working, and how to get Modulon Hospital to partner through the Provincial Health Authority to support the clinics, the health centers and aid posts in the province. So that's the strategy.
Sir Puka says through the government's strategic plan and investment in the higher education like Divine Word University, the government hopes to enhance the health care delivery in remote areas. The minister is also looking at making Modulon General Hospital become part of the Divine Word University. This will become possible after the setup of the Provincial Health Authority.
We're just talking about smart management and making sure that people are there working, and that if they are not working, that they shouldn't be paid. And if there are no medical supplies, that we make sure that drugs are in there on time. And so as you saw, my department has received close to 50 million to purchase drugs as well as distribute them to the facilities. So we are getting things organized.
The minister was accompanied by Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology and other dignitaries to witness the opening of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences lecture building. The building and other white goods and furniture cost 6 million kina. It consists of administrative support needed for quality research, teaching, learning and community service. The university also plans to develop and construct faculty buildings that will replace the current classroom-style setting. Its faculty building will cater for the staff and the students. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Madang.
A senior member of the East New Britain Provincial Government has been arrested and charged today by Kokopo Police over conspiracy and abuse of public office. Jeffrey Tokunai, the East New Britain Provincial Transport Advisor, was charged with 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the East New Britain Provincial Government, 1 count of stealing by false pretense and 1 count of abuse of office. East New Britain Provincial Police Commander Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali has confirmed his arrests. It is understood Mr. Tokunai had improperly removed a provincial government vehicle and kept it under his ownership for several months. The matter was later brought to the attention of the provincial government and the police. Mr. Tokunai remains in police custody with no bail. After more than 3 years and 200 shipments, landowners of Boira village in Central Province today became the first beneficiaries from the PNG LNG project to receive royalties. This historic occasion took place at Boira village. In total, 4 villages in Central Province, where the PNG LNG plant site is located, will share in 6.25 million kina in royalty payments.
Today, villagers from Boira village in Central Province became part of history, receiving the first royalty payments from the PNG LNG project. Mineral Resources Development Company Managing Director Augustin Mano was on hand to witness this occasion and congratulated all involved in working together to make this first royalty payment a reality.
Everybody in the benefit stream have benefited one way or another, except the landowners. I'm here today to celebrate this occasion because this is the first time ever that the real benefits that we've been waiting will be received today, and it starts in Boira village.
Royalty payments for the 4 villages of Boira, Papa, Porebada and Rea Rea are in line with the ministerial determination G692-2015, which will see 83 clans in total receive a share of 15.6 million kina.
From the 15.65 million, which they've said is the one that government pays to the Gas Resource Plant Site Company, and from there, the Oil and Gas Act splits it 40% as cash direct to the landowners, and this amount that we are going to pay is for 2014, 15 and 16.
This means that from the initial 15.6 million kina released to the MRDC, cash payments to landowners in these 4 villages will total 6.25 million kina.
I'm a very proud person here today to see the benefits actually reach my people. And we use the word benefit. Okay, it's really not a benefit if you don't invest it well. If you eat it or you drink it up, then it is not a benefit. But if you invest it well and it changes your life for the better and our children's life for the better, then it is a benefit. So that challenge I will leave with everybody here.
Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta, who also witnessed the royalty payments today, also gave an assurance that he would work with the PNG LNG project pipeline landowners in Gulf Province to get their internal issues sorted out to enable them to receive their royalties as well.
I will be behind my landowners to ensure that they are properly organized, that the benefits will flow to them.
Also present today were representatives from the PNG LNG project's upstream communities of Hides, Juha and Angore. Whilst royalty payments for these areas are still some time away, they are encouraged that direct benefits from the PNG LNG project are now flowing to communities at the project's plant site.
I think we should really allow the process, the normal process that is provided for in the Oil and Gas Act to flow and let the benefits flow.
For the people of Boira village in Central Province, today marked a historic occasion with the landowners here receiving their first royalty payments from the PNG LNG project since first gas in 2014. Following the presentations here at Boira village, this will continue on for the Papa, Leale and Porabata villages in the coming days. Merabatulo, National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3125 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.305, $0.3748 Australian dollars, $0.2501 euro and 32.69 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa and copra closed higher while gold is trading the day lower. Palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading higher and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 13.01 points higher, the ASX closed at 40.48 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 35.65 points higher. Stories making headlines overseas when we come back, including the monster storm wreaking havoc in the US and the Caribbean islands. Details after the break. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, millions of Americans are still in the path of Hurricane Irma in the state of Florida. It made landfall this morning, hurtling the southwest with winds of up to 200 kilometers per hour. It's now being downgraded to a Category 2 storm, still causing widespread damage. More than 2.5 million homes are without power, and overnight the worst storm in U.S. history passed through Cuba, wreaking havoc in the Florida Keys. Parts of Miami are underwater, with neighboring state Georgia now under a state of emergency.
Devouring Florida tonight, the storm making its first U.S. landfall at Cudjoe Key in the lower Florida Keys at 9:10 a.m. These storm chasers clocking speeds at 117 miles per hour. The actual speed may have been higher. Just before 10 a.m., a 94 mile per hour wind gust in Miami. Those gusts even stronger at the top of skyscrapers, snapping that crane and ripping off the roof of this apartment building. On the streets below, more than 5 feet of storm surge swamping downtown Miami.
As the minutes pass, the flooding keeps getting worse because the rain does not stop.
The hurricane spawning at least 3 reported tornadoes, multiple homes damaged in this neighborhood near Melbourne, Florida.
Mine's still standing. Mine's still standing, but there's a lot of water coming in now.
That metal wrapped around that mailbox, the wind firing splinters, spearing into the sides of homes. And officials say the biggest danger, that storm surge.
It's just after 2:20. We've just received an urgent alert on our phone, like everybody else in Naples, that the storm surge is coming. The water has gone out towards the Gulf of Mexico, and officials say it is going to come back in with ferocity.
The storm making its second landfall at 3:35 p.m. at Marco Island, now heading towards Tampa.
In the Caribbean, the death toll from Hurricane Irma is at least 25, but the full scale of destruction is still coming to light.
Post-Hurricane Irma, and parts of the Caribbean islands are unrecognisable. The island of Barbuda is barely habitable, and 10 people died as the storm pummeled the islands of St Martin and St Bart's.
It swept away the surf cabin that was here. It's now on the other side of the cemetery over there, swept away by winds.
Oren Glasgow was at home in the British Virgin Islands when the monster storm passed.
This section of my mom's room, the roof came off. Then my bedroom came off. We went to the living room, glass out of the bus. We had all of this boarded up.
In Puerto Rico, at least 3 are dead. And in Cuba, while no casualties have yet been reported, officials say the damage is significant.
There's a lot of fear from so much strong air and wind. Watching the trees go down, which really scares me because we have never seen that before.
Right across the Caribbean, much-needed aid is starting to arrive, with support also coming in the form of official visits. Tomorrow, French President Emmanuel Macron is to arrive in St Martin. But there is some welcome relief, with news that the next storm, Hurricane Jose, is now tracking away from the vulnerable region.
The Foreign Minister of Bangladesh has described Myanmar's treatment of Rohingya Muslims as genocide. Violence has forced hundreds of thousands to flee in the last 2 weeks. Myanmar's government has refused a request by Rohingya militants for a ceasefire, saying it will not negotiate with terrorists.
3 big fires were burning across the border in Myanmar today. Officials told us they'd seen helicopters hovering before the smoke began to rise. And still the Rohingya continue to pour into Bangladesh, struggling with whatever belongings they can salvage before they flee. This man claims he was involved in one of the attacks that started all of this.
In the village, we agreed, if we do nothing, the world will never know about our plight.
He says he and some other villagers wanted to take action against the government of Myanmar. He says the Rohingya people have been persecuted.
The militants came to our village and gave us bombs to plant in the road to attack the army vehicles. Every village was given 2 or 3 bombs like this. We planted the bombs. One exploded, but no soldier died.
This is what happened next. Look, look, says the man. The soldiers are coming in helicopters and jeeps. They're going to kill us. The government of Myanmar claims there were dozens of attacks on police and army posts on August the 25th. It responded with what it called an anti-terrorist clearance operation. We can't verify any of the mobile phone footage in this report, but the stories the refugees tell are remarkably similar. Meanwhile, the camps have become mud baths. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees now live in filthy hovels on whatever land they can find. But still, the makeshift settlements grow and grow and grow. So this is what the de facto leader of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, has to say about human suffering. The Nobel Peace Prize winner told an audience at Oslo Town Hall back in 2012 that wherever there is suffering, there are the seeds of conflict, because, she said, suffering degrades and embitters and enrages. A senior UN source told me today it is now working on the assumption that as many as 500,000 Rohingyas will flee Myanmar.
Chukai Sports is up next. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The Oil Search Rugby League World Cup Trophy Tour began today with its first leg to Leone, Morobe Province. The Paul Barrier Trophy will travel around Papua New Guinea and will return on October 13th.
Just like the Pacific Games baton, Oil Search has come up with the initiative of taking the Rugby League World Cup trophy to the different provinces around Papua New Guinea. The trophy made a brief visit to Port Moresby in April and was carried around the National Football Stadium during a Hunters match. Oil Search PNG stakeholder General Manager Leone Baskins says Oil Search is excited to bring the trophy to the people of PNG.
As we travel around Lae, Goroka, Hela, Keveng, to our backyard in Southern Islands, in Moro and Kurupu. So stay tuned for more details as we make our way around the countryside. This is an exciting time for PNG and for us at Oil Search.
The trophy started its tour in Lae and will travel to Wau and Bulolo, where rugby league was first played in the 1930s. Oil Search Managing Director Peter Borten says it is a fantastic opportunity for people around the country to get a closer look at the World Cup trophy and ensured this will not be a one-off event.
A fantastic opportunity for PNG to be connected to the World Cup. People who can't get to the games I'm sorry there are only 15,000 seats. We'd love to have more, but, you know, money is the issue, as always, but perhaps next time. And I'm sure there will be a next time. It won't be a one-off event in PNG. So I want to wish the people taking the cup round all the best.
The Rugby League World Cup is the second oldest World Cup to be played, the oldest being football. Rugby League World Cup 2017 CEO Andrew Hill was present at today's event and thanked Oil Search for their partnership with the Rugby League World Cup Committee.
And to have the trophy and the collateral that will be used around the provinces and to allow people to come and share in the excitement and the pride of hosting the World Cup is a fantastic opportunity. And to that point, can I acknowledge Oil Search, a very proud PNG company, an organisation that puts PNG fairly and squarely in a very prolific way to showcase this tremendous part of the world.
PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka was grateful for the opportunity to see the trophy tour the country and says Rugby League will not be the same in PNG after the World Cup.
Your support is not only towards the trophy and the World Cup, but it's an investment in the sport going forward. Rugby League will not be the same again in Papua New Guinea after this year. The success that the Hunters have had, the success that we've had in developing our domestic competitions all the way from our kids up to the senior level, we're reaping the rewards with the kind of performance yesterday.
Oil Search thanked other supporting partners that have joined to make the tour a possibility. The trophy will tour the country until the 13th of October, 2 weeks before the Kumul's first match at the National Football Stadium. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Rugby League World Cup 2017 Chief Executive Andrew Hill has congratulated the PNG Hunters on qualifying for their first grand final in the Queensland Cup. The Hunters will aim to complete a historic minor and major premiership double on the 24th of September after edging out Redcliffe Dolphins 6-4 before a packed Oil Search National Football Stadium in Sunday's qualifying final.
It's been a lot of hard work over a number of years under the chairmanship of Sanders to eventually be rewarded in that competition. I think is an enormous acknowledgement of that work and support that Sanders and his board has been able to obtain, acknowledging that hard work. And I'm sure that the Rugby League supporter base here in PNG will all be following the team on Sunday week when they travel to Brisbane.
The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League will announce the PNG Prime Minister's 13 team later this week. The team will most probably be made up of players from the PNG NRL competition and other players abroad if they are eligible. Players from the SB PNG Hunters will not be available for selection as they prepare for the Queensland Intra-Super Cup Grand Final. The PM's 13 match will be played on the 23rd of September at the National Football Stadium. Trukai Sports continues with more after the break. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To basketball, we've been profiling our star players in the national team, preparing to take on our neighbours in Melanesia. And tonight, Shane Soroya talks to Moses Leone. The Southern Flame stalwart, who has been in consistent form throughout the Port Moresby basketball competition, which landed him a spot in the national team.
Moses started playing basketball in his childhood days and developed a keen interest in the code and has been playing ever since.
2011, when I was 22 years old, playing in the village, back in the village, and I was getting the opportunity to come down here and play here. That's how I break through and represent my country.
His hard work and dedication for his club KSS Southern Flames has earned him a place in the national team.
Be part of the 2012 Team NCD, and then couldn't make it. I was due to a selection go down to Melbourne 2012 under-19s. I went with the junior PNG.
With several international honors under his belt, including the 2015 Pacific Games, Moses sees this coming event as no different.
It's been intense, really hard, pushing ourselves. We have less days of training, so our coach is pushing us really fast and speed.
Playing for the KSS Southern Flames for 4 years, Moses is well versed in playing in between positions on the court.
I play 3-4-5, but national duties I play 2-3-4. Like small forward, 3 small forward, 2 is a guard, 4 is a power forward.
He said the team training is progressing well with the player combinations, working out for the most, and looks forward to the championships.
The team will be doing fine in the Malaysian Cup. I think we are aiming for a gold, winning the golds. I think I trust our boys. We're going to put up a good show.
Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
New Zealand's distance runner Jake Robertson finished second at the UK's Great North Run, outdone by Sir Mo Farah in the Olympic champion's first race since retirement. But even after winning his 4th consecutive title, Farah couldn't quite steal all the limelight from the Kiwi.
Lining up for his latest shot at history. Having conquered the track, Mo Farah now wants to rule the road. And while for many the Great North Run is about taking part, be it for charity, fun or fitness, for Farah the focus was victory. It's what he does for a living, and so it proved today.
Back to winning ways at the Great North Run. Mo Farah is the champion again.
Farah becomes the first athlete to triumph 4 years in a row, an ideal start to his preparations for next year's London Marathon.
I think when I retire, hang my spikes up or shoes up for good, then you look back and go, oh my God, I did that. But now it's just, the track is done, it's time to move on to the road and just enjoy it, be happy, be relaxed and just enjoy it really.
The women's title went to Mary Keitani of Kenya for a 3rd time, and there was further British success as Simon Lawson took the men's wheelchair race. But amid the results came romance. New Zealand's Jake Robertson, who finished 2nd behind Farah, crossing the line and then proposing to his girlfriend, Kenya's Magdalena Masai. This time, he got the outcome he wanted.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Mostly fine, although partly cloudy in Port Moresby and Popondetta, and mostly fine and windy in Darrow and Alotau, and fine, although cloudy at times in Kerema. In the Momasa region, fine, although partly cloudy in Lae, rain drizzle in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, rain showers in Lorengau, fine apart from a shower or two in Kavieng, mostly fine, although partly cloudy in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and mostly fine in Buka. And in the Highlands region, rain drizzle, then morning fog in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's been the news, sports and weather for today, Monday, September 11th. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.